We'll be kicking off in about 8 minutes. Can you give me a thumbs up or say okay or something if you can hear me okay? Thank you. If anyone wants to ask questions before we officially get going, I'm quite happy to have a chat. Heather is currently stuck in her car somewhere, but will be joining us as soon as she can. And we're not officially started yet, but I'm quite happy to chat if anyone wants to. I have this theory, if Heather was here, they'll be chatting away happily. Scary Peter. I'm going to edit that bit out when it comes to the video. I think I need to go and have a haircut. I'm getting several questions about referencing. I've put a link to the university's APA website. Oh, we officially should have started. Haha. I'm just sharing my desktop so you can see. This website, which I'll post the link. I've posted the link in the Easy Retro forum, but I'll post it in the chat as well. But if you use this website, it's really quite handy because, let me just, so that's the link in the chat, because down the side here, it's got lists of all the different sorts of things that you might want to post. So if you've got an image, you can click on images, and then along the top, the tabs, it gives you all sorts of different sorts of images. So figures from web sources is probably what we want. If you go to that, then you can look through, and then it says images from the web. So we'll click on that, and it then tells us how to do it. So I think use this website and use these tabs down the left to kind of home in on the sort of thing you want. So if you've got a video or audio, you can go in and you can then say, is it a YouTube clip? And it will tell you how to reference a YouTube clip. So hopefully that will make life easier for everybody. Heather is stuck in traffic, so I'm going to kind of take over, and I'm going to just dive straight into assignment 2 and kind of open it up for questions. The things I do want to highlight for you are, remember that when on this form, and I'm going to stop sharing that and actually share my whole screen, because that's going to be, actually, I'll share this document here. Let's go back to share. And yeah, okay, we'll share the whole screen, why not? So if we're looking at this document here, which is the assignment 2 template and criteria, in this section here, just to remind you, these boxes where it's early years and primary, secondary, these are not the phase you're signed up for. These are to do with your issue. So when you've got an issue you're focusing on, say it's about banning mobile phones in schools, are you looking at that in relation to primary or secondary or both, in which case you tick both of them. And then you list what your issue is here in this box number 2, and then you identify whether it's from our list of issues or whether you've discussed it with your tutor and or Heather and I, and we've agreed it's suitable. Do put up hands if you've got questions. I'm probably not going to be able to look at Easy Retro while I'm doing this, so I'll put it on in the background. So I've got a question, virtual school visits. Yes, they come from week 8, activity 8.2 or 8.3. So the virtual visit video that you use in assignment 2 has to come from activity 8.2 or activity 8.3. So that's a yes. I'll just write yes. Yes. Do put up hands if you want to ask questions. I'm going back. I think I've shared this one. I have. So then when we get down here, you've got 6 sources, and you're going to write the reference, the APA reference in this top box here, underneath this top one, and then you're going to write the annotated bibliography entry here. Activity 7.13 takes you through how to write an annotated bibliography entry. Remember that the difference between this and a Cornell note is that in this you are trying to link it to your issue. So here you should be talking about how it links to your issue as well as the other aspects of what you're talking about. Tell you what, let's go back into activity 7.13 and just make sure that you're clear. Weekly activities 7.13. And it's specifically this link here. Let me open that up. Bonk. Which tells you about how to write an annotated bibliography. And the important things is, remember that we are looking for an evaluative one. Always expect you to be reading critically. So we're always expecting you to be thinking about the strengths and weaknesses of the article, and that links to criterion 1.3. So the first bit is the citation details, which goes in that top box that I just showed you. Where's the document? In this top row here, underneath the heading. That's where your reference goes. And then, if I can find the document again, Short statement explains the main focus or purpose of the work. So what is the source focused on? What's it about? Short summary of the theory, research findings, or argument. So what are they claiming? Okay. How useful is it? And this bit about how useful it is where you're getting that critical comment. So you're wanting to go beyond the things that the article itself says are limitations. So in most academic journal articles, for example, there will be a section that says the limitations of this study are, and you're wanting to go beyond that. You're wanting to say, how robust is this research? So if it's a research study where they've collected some data, how rigorous was their methodology? When they're doing, so, you know, if they're just doing questionnaires, you have to ask, how credible are the results from the questionnaires? And there's a lot of evidence that suggests that people either deliberately or unintentionally lie on questionnaires. So what they say doesn't necessarily reflect what they actually do. So you always need to take questionnaires with a little bit of pinch of salt. So you need to be thinking about the methods. How have they collected the data? And how rigorous have they been in using those methods, and how appropriate are those methods? And, you know, how many people are involved? And so for a quantitative study, that's one that's kind of using a lot of statistics. Then they're trying to sample, and sampling is about saying we're taking a proportion of the whole group of people we're interested in, and we're just taking some of them. So rather than talking to every single school child in a secondary school, or, you know, in the population of secondary schools, we're talking to this group of 100 secondary school children. So it's a sample of 100. And you then got to ask, is that sample representative? So are they typical of the group as a whole? And if they're not, then, you know, that undermines the credibility of the extent to which you can claim that those results also relate to the wider population. So it's that stuff about methodology, and then the stuff about analysis and how rigorous has their analysis been. So with statistical stuff, you're asking, have they used appropriate statistics, and have they used those statistics in a legitimate way? I read an article recently, it was one of the ones, actually it was in assignment 1, where they said the findings were not statistically significant, and then they carried on talking about the findings as if they had been statistically significant. But if they're not statistically significant, they don't mean anything. They're not telling you anything useful. If you're looking at qualitative research, then what you're wanting to do is make sure that people haven't just cherry picked. They haven't just chosen the quotes or the extracts that support their argument. So if you read the article about the Forest Kinder, then they've got a really very small sample of people. So of their population of 30 parents or 30 families, they had about 11 who actually responded to the questionnaire. And you've got to be asking, were they the 11 who were enthusiastic and actively involved in supporting the pilot? And so might they have been more positive than the other people? But then when they go through their quotes and they're going through the evidence, they only ever show quotes that support what they're saying. And you've got to say, I bet there was someone who said something that contradicted that or that disagreed with that. And so the issue here is, have they actually gone through and rigorously said, we think the data shows this, now let's go through and find any instances that contradict that or suggest that that isn't true. So are we really being thorough about kind of what I call destruction testing the data to make sure that we really have God, Heather's just come in the door. She's popping like a train. We've got it under control, Heather. I just want to thank Heather for her donation to the swear box. I don't know if you know about my swear pig. Oh, look, he disappears. I'll put him on my head. My swear pig. Thank you to Jade who instigated the swear pig. I have this strategy of putting in 5-cent coins every time I swear, whereas other people, like Heather, put in $2. So, you know, it's very expensive for her to swear. And I've got very good at not swearing. Well, a lot better than I was. Yeah, Heather is making a face at me now as if to say, really, Peter? Sorry, I'll get back on. So that's the thing about, you know, making sure that their analysis is actually really rigorous and they've really pulled that data apart. And then the claims they're making at the end and their conclusions, does the data that they've presented actually support the claims that they've made? Because very often people will present some data and then they'll start making claims and the data doesn't really fit the claims they're making. So that then undermines the credibility. And then you get into the question about how relevant is their context to my context? So does what they've done match, or was the context in which they did it? You know, if they did research in, you know, there was the one about pre-service teachers at Sydney University who were asked about why they wanted to be teachers. And when you look at it, they all had ATARs of over 90. And you've got to be thinking, are they representative and typical of all pre-service teachers? And I suspect the answer is no, because I suspect most pre-service teachers don't have an ATAR of over 90. And that then gets you thinking about, okay, so how relevant are their results to my context at the University of Newcastle, for example? Heather's got her audio on, so we're going to get some lovely echoes. Echo.
But I can't hear the students.
You can't hear the students?
No. Well, let's have this on, unless you want to take out your earphones.
I'm gonna turn off something. I'm gonna turn myself off so that Heather can take over.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to take it.
Heather's ready. Okay, so hang on, I'm going to unshare my screen. I'm going to silence myself. Heather.
Thank you. I'm using my phone actually because my laptop has just died. It won't work at all. So I'm not sure what to do. Should I come and sit next to you, Peter?
You could.
I don't have.
I don't mind.
No, I don't have COVID.
You don't have COVID.
Not that I know of.
It would mean I can't type on the Easy Retro.
Oh.
Because my keyboard's broken.
Oh.
My remote keyboard. Is Easy Retro working on there?
Well, my computer's broken.
Your computer's broken. Okay. Well, it's more important you talk to.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have to speak to them.
Yeah, go talk.
I'll just leave this maybe if I can. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. My apologies for being a little bit late. It does happen from time to time. Oops. So welcome to week 9. My laptop just broke. I know that's not a very good excuse. I won't accept it for your assignments, but mine did.
The dog ate her laptop.
Possibly, actually. I wouldn't put it past those stupid little swamp donkeys that I've got going on at home at the moment. So the beautiful PowerPoint that I created isn't working, sad face. But what we do have is coming up at 10 o'clock, we've got Professor Susan Ledger, who's our head of school. Is going to come and talk to you about being in the School of Education. And she'll be joined by Associate Professor Narelle Ether, who's the Deputy Head of School Teaching and Learning. So please, if you're able to, can you hear now, everybody? I've got some messages saying you can't hear. Can you hear me? Can someone just say, yeah, okay, cool, thank you. So please come along to the 10 to 11 session if you can. Building Successful Pathways, that's really great. And don't forget that we've also got the other first year experiences sessions as well. So let's open it up first of all to talk about this week. So this week we're learning about theories of learning. So are there any questions about the assignment? No, about the course content. Yeah, I can't turn it on. Can I just get somebody to put their hand up so I can see if it's working? Yep, okay, Zoe. Yep, okay, put your hands down unless you want to ask a question. Thank you. It is working. So are there any questions about this week's topic about theories of learning? No, okay. I hope you're getting on with those activities. What about any feedback or reflections about the virtual school visits from last week? Okay, Zoe, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Alex. Hi, Zoe. Could you unmute yourself, please?
Hi there. Can you?
Yep.
So as you know, I was not there during that. But I'm making a big like Word document and doing it all now. Is it still okay to hand in with my doctor's certificate?
I'm a little bit confused. Sorry, Zoe. So last week there were the virtual school visits, and
Yeah.
you could do those at any time during the week. They weren't at a specific time because you just listen to the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think
I was worried that I was worried that when I was filling it out, it wouldn't actually submit. So I was doing it in a Word document instead, like looking at the template, but it'll still work with the template and I can fill it out now, like, and send it.
Yeah, so are you talking about the template for the virtual school visit, Zoe?
Yeah.
Because there's actually nothing to submit.
Oh, I thought we had to like make our comments on the virtual school visits and stuff.
And you bring that to this week's tutorial.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Yep. Fill out the template, bring it along with you to the online tutorial or to your tutorial, sorry.
Okay, so I'm not late on that then. Okay, that makes so much more sense in my head. Thank you. Sorry, my head is fuzzy. Bye.
Okay, just to be clear to everyone, sorry if our instructions weren't clear on the weekly activities. So last week you were required to listen to those videos and there was a template to fill out. And as in every week, we've had pre-tutorial activities, and that's one of your pre-tutorial activities for this week. So if you haven't yet done it, make sure you do it before your tutorial, but you don't need to submit anything for the course. So sorry if I've not been clear with those instructions. Okay, Alex.
Hi, Heather. How are you going?
Good, thanks. How you going?
Good, thanks. I was just wanting to make sure in the assignment we have to annotate a virtual school visit video.
Yes.
The virtual school visits in 8.2, not the.
No, it's in 8.2 or 8.3.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
That's all right. No worries, Alex. That should give you a few more options.
Mm.
Okay, and now we've got Kayla. How you going, Kayla? Nice to see your surfing picture again. I look forward to seeing that every week.
Thank you. Yeah, it's work of art. I was just wondering with the...
Is it you, Kayla? Peter wants to know.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, no, sorry. In the photo, no. Sorry, it's not me. Sorry.
Oh.
I was going to ask for lessons.
I thought it was a stock image.
No, sorry. I thought you like, was it me talking? And I'm like, yeah, it's me.
I know it's you. Hey, come on. I'm dopey, Kayla, but not that bad. Come on.
I just had a question about the virtual visits. So we just do like one video. Is that right for the assignment?
Yeah. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then we just like summarize it from that template in the assignment?
Yeah, so we're not summarizing, we're critiquing, but it does have a summary within it. Yes, it's an annotated bibliography, but yes, without getting stuck on semantics, that is correct, Kayla.
Okay, thank you.
But you're not, the template that you're filling in during week 8 is not necessarily what you're going to put in for the assignment. You're going to write a bibliography, which is slightly different to what you filled in that template, I suspect.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So, sorry, Kayla, I think I didn't listen to your question properly. So the activities is for everyone now. The activity from last week on the virtual school visits, you bring that to your tutorial prep and having activities around it. But for the assignment itself, you're putting that within the annotated bibliography format.
Okay, thank you.
Is that clear now? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. One of the things I liked about last week's activity, or this week's activity, sorry, is that we're focusing as well on that early childhood idea of being, becoming, and belonging, being, and belonging, becoming, being. Okay. I really like that idea. And so I was just thinking, what about those people who aren't doing early childhood, like the secondary students, for example? How do you think this whole, and even primary, but upper primary, not infants, what do you think? Peter's just made my computer work, which I appreciate, because I was about to put up my dogs for adoption, because it wouldn't surprise me if they ate my computer cord at night time. What do people in upper primary or secondary think about belonging, becoming, being? And what do early childhood people think that you can offer to people who aren't in early childhood about this idea of belonging, becoming, and being? We'll start with Zoe. Hi, Zoe.
Hey Heather. So I'm doing secondary.
Don't lose anything. Yes, so Peter's on my computer and he's just saying that I've got like 50 tabs open. And I'm asking him, don't touch anything. They're all equally important. So Zoe, Peter's horrified at me. I'm not going to swear because I don't have any money on me to donate to his swear jar.
I'll PayPal you some money real quick. Don't worry.
Thanks, Zoe. So Zoe, yes, how can we help you? Sorry.
So belonging, becoming, being during secondary, I feel like is very seminal to adolescenthood, because you're, finding out where you belong in, your spot in the high school and also academically. Becoming, you are growing into yourself, you're forming your own opinions, you're maybe stepping away from opinions of your family or friends, getting your own voice. And the last, God, what was the last B?
Being.
Oh, being, yeah, being. So I feel like for myself, being really only happened in year 12.
Yeah.
I was finally being what I set out to do, and my teachers had helped me, as in regards to future work, what I wanted to do after school, leaving school. And I think that's our job as secondary teachers, is to help them figure all of that stuff out as best we can.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to lower my hand and let some other people talk.
Thanks, Zoe. I really appreciate your input there. I think sometimes as secondary teachers, for those of us who are secondary, this is important for primary and early childhood to know, is that I think sometimes we actually get stuck on teaching the subject. So if you ask a primary school teacher, what do you teach? Primary school teachers will say, I teach children. If you ask a secondary school teacher, what do you teach? The secondary school teacher will answer, I teach history, I teach English, I teach science or maths or PDHPE or whatever the case may be. So it's good for us as secondary people, and it's good for primary and early childhood to know this, that actually what we want to do and what we all want to do as educators, regardless if you're tertiary like me now, high school, primary, early childhood, is I have this idea about the affective, so the heart, and the effective or the cognitive, the brain. And when we match up the heart with the brain, so we care about our students, we care about their learning from who they are and where they're coming from and what they bring to the classroom. But we also care about what's in their heads. Then that when we marry those two up, it can create a really good classroom environment. I did work in a school. It was a funny little school. Actually, it was huge. It was 2,100 students. And we had a middle school. And what our school did is we didn't follow the syllabus for any subjects. In fact, we made up our own subjects. We had the syllabus for years 11 and 12, but pre that we didn't use the syllabus. And so what would happen is that so some teachers who were really interested in relationship developing, that's basically all that they did, is they developed relationships. So when they came into the senior high school, which started in year 10 at this school where I worked, all the students had fabulous relationships with each other. They had fabulous relationship with teachers who were no longer with them, who had stayed in the middle school, and they cared for each other deeply. And I was really moved by how much students cared about each other. But when it came to the cognitive, the effective, they actually didn't know how to learn properly. And so there was a bit of a mismatch between the heart or the affective and the effective or the head, the cognitive work. So as school teachers, I think it's important for us to be concerned with both. Whereas on the other hand, if you're only concerned with the head, you're not going to engage students, they're not going to be ready to learn. So it's that mix. And I think early childhood people and primary school people really get that really well. So we'll move to Ryan. Yes, Ryan, can I help you?
I just wanted to build a little bit on what you were saying there about like syllabus and stuff like that. I feel like not especially, as someone doing primary, but it would kind of be applied to everything as well. I feel like having no syllabus and complete focus on syllabus, they're two extremes that don't work super well. I feel like ultimately in an ideal world, there would need to be some sort of balance there. There needs to be some aspects that's you still have to follow a syllabus, but there are also aspects to it that there is more free control, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah. And so why do you think we should follow a syllabus, Ryan? That's an interesting concept.
I feel like there's still I'm gonna struggle to put this in the right wording, but
That's all
I
right.
feel like there still needs to be some semblance of structure there, and I feel like syllabus kind of in a way provides that.
The syllabus certainly does provide a structure for our teaching and
Yeah.
guides and therefore for student learning. Do you think that after 4 years doing a degree, teachers might understand about how to structure learning themselves without needing to be guided by a document?
Oh, yeah. I understand that.
I'm being
It's
provocative on
not,
purpose,
it's,
Ryan.
it's not really necessary for teachers, but it's more like kind of teaching how to follow a structure for the kids. Because particularly if you're dealing with primary school kids, there needs to be some sort of structure, otherwise their focus will just slowly diminish.
Yeah, but you're not giving the primary school students a copy of the syllabus and saying this is what we're doing this term, are you?
I suppose not.
You might be. I mean, the one thing that amazes me about the New South Wales system is that when you talk to high school students or and particularly senior high school students, they know what dot point of the syllabus that they're covering this week.
Yeah.
So in some jurisdictions like New South Wales, the syllabus certainly wags the dog. You know, the tail of the syllabus wags the dog in a way, I think. Often, you know, why do kids need to know the dot points of the syllabus? I don't think they do. But it's because New South Wales is highly controlled and there's little room for a manoeuvre. So, yeah, it's an interesting concept. The school I taught at got an exemption not to use the syllabus until year 11.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, I kind of liked it because I like autonomy. I can see your point as well, Ryan, but I had lots of ideas about what I wanted to teach my students.
Yeah. And having a syllabus kind of limits what you can and can't teach kids.
Yeah.
Which I feel there are very important aspects of just living, I guess, that don't really get covered in any part of any school syllabus, at least in New South Wales.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course, there are other aspects of living that don't get covered, and we even as school teachers, we wish they did.
Yeah.
There's lots of things about relationships and so forth that we wish was covered, I suppose, that isn't. You know, in my experience teaching that Year 10 group, humanities, we didn't even call it history, we call it humanities, was interesting. But I knew what the syllabus said. And I knew what we should be teaching. So I was able to say, you know what, to prepare them for 11 and 12, let's do this topic and this topic and this topic. It's interesting. So Anthony disagrees. Teachers can get stuck in what they know. The world is growing and changing. If we don't have a syllabus, teachers may get stuck in a rut and not change with the times. That's almost an argument against a syllabus, Anthony, because by the time the syllabus is 10 years old, is it still relevant?
Syllabuses don't really evolve either, like I guess in a way, like not in ways that they need to.
Yeah,
I agree they should, but they don't.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion about the role of syllabuses and do they change with the times or do they not change with the times. Anthony, I did my thesis, my PhD thesis on this topic, actually, whether or not syllabuses change with the times or not, and they don't. There's a huge big lag time between them, and that's interesting. So I'll put you down. I'll put your hand down now, Ryan. if anyone else wants to put their hand up. Hi, Peter. So yes, I think we should probably move on now, and we might look at, if there's no more questions about the assignment. If there is, we can still keep talking. I mean, about the course content. If there is, we can still keep talking about that. Otherwise, I'll get my PowerPoint up and we can talk about the assignment. How does that sound? Peter and I are just swapping desks because Peter managed to save my computer. I don't know what happened to it. Let me get that. Oh, but all my documents have died. Damn it.
Wasn't me. I'm innocent of all charges.
Week 9. Let me get week 9 up. Week 9 Q&A.
While Heather's doing that, just picking up on that conversation about curriculum, in week 7, where we looked at curriculum, one of the tutorial prep activities asked you to read a blog post. You know I want you to read my blog posts, right? And in there are some dimensions about what choice students have about what they study, i.e. what the curriculum consists of, and how much choice they have about whether they engage with it or not. And that space of completely free choice was actually quite problematic for an awful lot of people. It's a bit like, I find it easier shopping in Aldi because there's only one brand of baked beans. Whereas if I go to some other supermarket, it's like, oh my God, which sort of baked beans am I going to have? So
what is the type you'd have actually?
Sugar-free or reduced sugar Heinz beans.
No, just what is this best? It's New Zealand made,
Oh,
actually.
is it?
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay.
Just throw that out there to everyone. Bit of life advice. Not covered in the syllabus.
Maybe it's a good argument for having a curriculum.
All right. Do you want me to keep going, or are you still
Yeah,
talking?
no,
Right.
you've got this.
So yeah, we've got
Are you muted?
Yeah, but they can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep, I thought so. I have a very loud voice. It carries. Don't forget the other sessions. We've looked at the word that I love, the word of the week that I liked, if we were doing a Sesame Street word of the day. I like the word mathematics, the art of learning. It sounds good to me. A little bit too much like maths, but we can get over that. I hope that you guys are still updating your LinkedIn profiles. I've been getting some more requests from people. Make sure you write a little note, agree with someone, disagree. Why don't you make an effort this week of posting up an article that you agree or disagree with and say why, or share someone else's comment, or share someone else's video that they've put up. For example, our Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor John Fischetti, often posts videos on his LinkedIn profile. So if you're not yet connected with Professor Fischetti, make an effort to do so. He is often topical, and you can share his videos around and give your perspective as well. So the assignment is due at the end of week 10. Let's move into the assignment talking. By the end of this week, you really should have a full draft done. And what a full draft done enables you to do, it gives you some breathing space. So you've got your 6 annotations, and you've got your critical summary, and then you self-mark, leave it for a day, and then go back to it and read it with those fresh eyes. Get someone else to read it as well, possibly. But by the end of this week, you have a full draft. And then next week, if something goes wrong, or if you're suddenly really busy, or you get called in for extra shifts, or you think you've got COVID or something, you already know you've got a full draft. So you're kind of already there. Then you can just do a quick read through and submit. So part of being a school teacher and then part of being a good university student is being prepared for the inevitable. Okay, so thinking, I'm not going to leave it to the last minute, because if you do that, something will go wrong. Okay, and as you get further on in your degree, lecturers get less and less and less and less and less willing to give you extensions for dodgy reasons, shall we say, or reasons that don't exactly align with policy. So help yourself by thinking about, how can I be prepared to do that? I'm going to have a session at some stage. I'm going to record a session with a student this week about how we can time manage and how we can plan out our study for the week. We've got some fabulous people who join me on a Tuesday night who've got kids, spouses, carer responsibilities, they work and they come to uni. How are they managing to juggle that? There's that old idea that you ask a busy person to do something and they'll do it. So we're going to talk about that this week in a recording. I'll post it when it's ready. So are there any direct questions about assignment 2? Okay, we'll go to William first. Hi, William. Would you unmute yourself, please? Hi, William.
Hello.
How can we help you?
There we go. Okay. I was just wondering with the references, how are we referencing the video? Are we just labeling what school it is?
So, William, that question has been answered in Easy Retro, but we do reference according to the APA system, which you can find online, the APA handbook.
And I've posted links.
Yeah, but what would we actually like link though?
Well, they're nearly all YouTube videos. So if you, when you're watching the video, usually it can say watch it on YouTube. Okay, you can then get the YouTube URL, and then you'll be able to use APA referencing to link to a YouTube video.
Because I was looking at that, but I can't seem to find that option. Yeah.
Which video are you choosing?
I was thinking of choosing the oh, sorry, I've got hold on, my computer's being stuffy, sorry. I was going to use the Irrawang High School one.
Is that an 8.3 or 8.2?
8.2.
Hold on, is
Is it
that
8.2?
that's 8.2? Yeah.
Irrawang, okay. So, oh, it's a Panopto video. So you'd probably
So just maybe choose a different one, or
no. References as course materials. Okay, so if you look at the APA referencing for course materials,
yeah,
I would use that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at that now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have a look at that, William. If you've still got problems, post a question up on discussion board and tell us what you've got, and we might be able to help you there.
Okay.
But definitely APA referencing guide will tell you how to set out every single type of source that there is.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, William. Okay, we've got Phoebe. Hi, Phoebe. How you going? If you unmute yourself, please, Phoebe. Okay. So Phoebe, at the moment you're muted. If you'd like to talk to us, could you unmute yourself, please?
While we're waiting for that, Heather, we've got a question in Easy Retro I don't know the answer to. How do we find the programme plan from commencing the degree in semester 1 of this year to the programme plan available for semester 2 that takes 5 years to complete? So how do I find an overview of the programme plan? I'll just be in.
So the person that asked the question about the programme plan, if you type in your degree into the University of Newcastle website, it'll come up. And so you follow this. If you enroll this year for semester 1, if you started in semester 1 this year, you follow the semester 1 plan. If you enrolled last year in semester 2, you follow the semester 2 plan, okay? And you finish it within 4 years. If you want to extend your degree to finish in 5 years, then what I want you to do is speak with your program advisor about mapping out your degree for 5 years. Don't map it out yourself, because there's lots of rules about in what order you can do some courses, and you can't go into your second year of education without having completed and passed 8 units in first year. So if you're thinking about stretching your degree out to 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, please make sure you consult with a program advisor first.
You've posted an example, haven't you, of assignment 2? Does it include the part 3 bit, the summary bit?
I'm not sure.
I'll have a look.
So I can see Phoebe put her hand down. Does anyone else have any questions about this? Okay, Phoebe's back up again. Okay, hi Phoebe, could you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry about that.
All right, how you going?
I've got so many computer problems this morning, so yay me. got fuzzy brain syndrome this morning. So where is it I could probably get help for the assignment from?
Sorry, Phoebe?
Where could I get help with the assignment from? My brain's fuzzy at the moment and I can't remember.
So where can you get help for your assignment?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a few different places you can get help. You can come here, of course, and we can help you. You can also make an appointment with the learning advisors. So if you have a look in the Blackboard course, there's a folder that says emails to students or emails. If you go in there, you'll see all the emails that we've sent out to students, okay?
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can even just type into the University of Newcastle website, learning advisors, okay? Student learning support. You can make an appointment with them. You can have an online appointment, face-to-face or a phone consult, okay? And you can ask them questions. You can also go to workshops that they run and that's listed on their website about when they are on. You might remember that Dr. Lil Hayes came and did a session.
Yeah.
She's fabulous and she works for learning support. You can also go to the library. The library have both workshops and they also have, you can go to the library and say, hey, could you please help me? Okay, I've been to the library a couple of times the past couple of weeks saying, excuse me, could someone please help me? Okay.
Yeah. I've been trying to look at it or do anything in terms of work or assignments. My brain's all fuzzy and I go, no.
Yeah. Have you selected your topic yet, Phoebe?
I was gonna do something like autism, or something along those lines, but I'm thinking probably be a bit hard, so I'm gonna try and change it.
Okay. Well, I would really suggest that just pick a topic. Don't stress out too much about picking a topic. Get a topic, and then it can.
You there?
And then you can.
Hello?
Phoebe, come and talk to me before the tutorial.
Okay.
Because you're in my tutorial group.
Yeah.
Come and see me before the tutorial at 11.
Because I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I can read a book fine, but it comes to textbooks or something like that. It's really, really hard for me to do.
Yeah, come on, we'll have a chat before the tutorial, okay? I can help you out.
I don't know if I sound like I'm about to cry a bit.
Yeah, Phoebe, I just want you to know that we know, Peter and I know, that first year studies are difficult, okay? And we know that it can take a while to get into the groove. And we also know that students who care about their learning, some can really get overwhelmed with things. And I feel that you're getting overwhelmed. So I think that you're not the only one, okay? That's why I'm saying this. You are absolutely not the only one. And I'm seeing some comments coming up in the chat now that lots of other people feel this way too. I felt like you felt until I was in my third year at university, Phoebe, okay? And I had no idea what was going on ever until a lecturer actually pointed out to me all the mistakes I was making. So we're trying to catch you in the net before that, okay? And I can see lots of students are here in the same boat, okay? So meet with Peter, and for anybody else who's in the same position, come and have a chat with Peter or I. Come to the first year experience sessions where you can have a chat with Melanie about it as well. Often we get so overwhelmed emotionally is that it actually stops us from learning and it stops us from seeing what's in front of us. And I know that, and I experience that too. When I'm super stressed out, I actually can't see what's in front of me. So we're here to support you. If there's some issue that requires you to have an extension, please make sure, everyone, that you put an extension in if you need one. We're not here to see you fail. We're here we want to support you and to make sure that you get along with it, okay, and be successful. And the idea is that the idea of this course is that you're successful so that you can get to semester 2. Okay, that's what we want to have happen. We want you to go to to semester 2. Okay, so that's the idea of this course, and that goes for everybody, because I know that Phoebe's not the only one who's stressed out, because I get emails from students about it. So we're here to support you. What can we do to help you? And taking that one step at a time can really help everybody. Lucy, could you unmute yourself, please?
Hello. I put a question on the retro board, but I'm not sure if it was answered because my retro board's glitched. It was just about for the course reading that we have to pick. Can we pick from the course reading folder, or does it have to be from the learning schedule? Because I know there was like confusion with the last assignment.
So
I have answered that. You should go from the learning schedule. We have tried to make sure that the two lists are now the same.
They are.
And they are, but to be absolutely 100% safe, I would go from the learning schedule.
Yeah, because I noticed with the one that I picked, that's why I thought I'd ask the question, because I compared it. The one I picked is on the course reading folder, but not in the learning schedule. So I wasn't sure.
Is that still Lucy?
Yeah.
When did you last look at it? I'm just interested to know, because I fixed all that up, and if it's
and so did I.
Yesterday.
What?
Okay.
I'm about to throw my computer.
It was just one. It was about the digital labour meets the classroom. It was like the two-page.
That's in both.
Oh,
is it? Maybe I just can't find it.
Oh, okay. So that was in week 1, and I suspect for week 1 of the learning schedule, we didn't actually list it. So that one is fine. That's the Neil Selwyn.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just not listed, but it's fine to use.
Yeah, you can use that.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions about assignment 2? Otherwise, I'm going to open up a question. Any other questions for assignment 2? I've got someone. Okay. 126447. How can I help you? Could you unmute yourself, please? And what's your real name?
Hi. I'm Isabel, sorry.
Isabel?
Fine.
How can we help you?
I've just been working on assignment 2.
Good.
And I'm doing what was it again? I'm doing children starting school too early.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to find a course reading that's related to it, but I can't really find any of them that are directly related to that course, that issue.
What were you doing, sorry?
A children starting school too early.
And you can't find a reading related to it?
Yeah, like a course reading that's directly related to it.
There might not be something that directly relates to it as in that particular topic, but there could be a theoretical article that you could link it to. So, for example, the Michael Apple reading on official curriculum or official knowledge could be linked to ideas of student learning. One of the readings from this week about student learning could be linked to that, because what you can do is you get your other sources about us children starting school too early. And
I think that the one that always strikes me is the pedagogy of poverty, the Habermas, which, though 1994 still seems relevant, even more relevant.
So
which one was that? Sorry, I didn't get
Pedagogy of Poverty, Haberman, 1994.
I'll just write that one down. Thank you. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah. So I think 126447 or Isabel, you're not the only student that's asked this question. So I'm glad you've raised it in this session, because what you can do with the topic is that you can think about, okay, this is my topic, but what's some ideas about the theory behind it? Am I looking at theories of learning? Am I looking about equitable access to school? Are those kinds of things? And then you can link the course reading into that more specific topic. So in academic writing, and certainly in teaching, you don't have to always get the article that that answers your question. Okay, it can be a bit of a long road to get there. That's fine. For those of you who aren't reading the chat, I've just noticed that Melanie's added a comment that in week 10, which is next week, there'll be a representative from the counselling service who'll be able to talk about some strategies to help you through. So please make sure, guys, that you're accessing all the support that you can. You know, one thing that I love about working at the University of Newcastle, apart from, of course, being Peter's colleague, is that we have lots and lots of support available for our students. That's free. So you can go to the library, you can go to counselling, you can go to careers, you can go to financial planning, you can go to learning support. What you need to do as a student, I suppose, and as an adult student, is to be able to identify things are getting on top of me. What am I going to do about it? How am I going to sort this out before it becomes an avalanche? Okay, so that's a skill to learn, and it's a difficult skill to learn, but the earlier you learn it, the better off you are throughout your entire career, because what we see happening with teachers who haven't learned how to manage their own personal expectations, for example, is that they get really stressed out during school, when in their first, second year of teaching, and they burn out, and we want to avoid that. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, I just got another question.
I like your questions, Kayla. I love everyone's questions, of course. I particularly like Kayla's questions because she has a picture of not herself on it, and I like pictures. So yes, Kayla.
With the like identifying the limitations with the source, in my assessment, I've sort of just kind of said, like, you know, it's limited because it doesn't directly address the issue that I'm focusing on. Should I go deeper than that and say, like, you know, research wasn't good?
Yes, Kayla, I think you should go deeper. What you've described now is good. That's past maybe a credit, okay? But to go deeper, I want you to actually talk about what are they saying. That's a limitation about what they're talking about. So, for example, if you're doing, you know, mobile phone use in high schools, and the person is like, oh, and you're like, the person is writing and saying mobile phones are awesome, we should use them all the time, and there should be no restrictions on them, et cetera, you could look at that and go, well, actually, there's an equity issue. What about kids who don't have a mobile phone? So you could say the author failed to recognise the equity issues of technology, for example, would be a limitation, wouldn't it, Peter?
Potentially. Though, if you look at my edfutures.net website, one of the things I talk about is who provides the resources for kids to use in school.
Yeah.
And whether actually it's more equitable to say, let's not just use the resources the school can pay for, but let's use all the resources that are available, and then we can target the school's money on those kids who haven't got the support at home.
And then if the author didn't say that,
yeah, absolutely,
that would be a limitation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it's looking for those gaps, and all authors have gaps because they intentionally do it. You know, I used the example last week or a couple of weeks ago about the Anzac Day thing. So the author just quoted data from the centenary of Anzac to the 1 year after the centenary of Anzac. He did not look at data the year before or 2 years before that. So that's what we call cherry picking our data. And researchers do that all the time. Now, if the review process was solid, they would identify that and say, come on, you can't get away with saying that. But if the reviewers are sympathetic to that attitude and go, oh yeah, we hate Anzac Day, then they'll let it through. So you have to know that all research has got a certain slant to it. So good questions, Kayla, I like them.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions either about the course content, about life, about the assignment? I can give you some hot tips about living with 4 dogs.
Oh, don't.
Don't. I took my 4 dogs for a walk yesterday and my 2 children. And as you all know, I'm pretty pregnant. And my member of parliament saw me and stopped me to have a chat. Oh my gosh, I think we look like the freak show when we walk around. William said, can we all agree we are kind of stressed out about the assignment? Yep. Yes, William, let's all admit that. Good. I'm glad you've stressed out. A little bit of stress is good. Is when your stress gets like huge that it's not good, okay? Being a little bit stressed can be a motivator.
Oh God, what have I done?
Must we critique one of the full videos, or can we focus on one section of one video? Well, because it's not a summary of the video, I guess a critique is good of, you know, a particular section that's relevant. What, don't you think?
Yeah, as long as you're
Good.
clear which bit you're going with.
As long as you're clear. Okay, everyone likes, a lot of people except for Peter clearly likes dogs. Georgie's got a disabled dog. Me too, Georgie. She nearly got put down because her leg was so mangled up when she was born, but we won't talk about that today. Casey is a dog sitter. That's good, Casey. Oh, we had major spinal surgery. Gosh, Georgie, that sounds intense. And you know what? If you're really stressed out, I can bring my dog to uni and we can pat the dog, because actually hanging around with pets is good for your mental health and your stress. That's why I've got 4.
That's why she's got 4. You can pet the pig. Come on.
Okay, I get to, there we go. I'm patting money. It sounds a little bit, it feels weird. Oh, you have a fear of dogs, William. That's sad. That's unfortunate, actually. But I understand that it is a real fear. I know, Anthony. I realised that's why I stopped, but it was the pig I was patting it, and Peter made me. So
there was no force involved.
I'm a little bit scared of Peter. Yes, Brendan, my email is heather.sharp@newcastle.edu.au. I'll just type that in. But if you want to ask a question about the course, try to use that IntroToEd website email address. Am I able to use Redhead Public School for my virtual video? Yes, Keely, you can. Okay. Well, we've got it degenerated into dogs, and as much as I love dogs, am I your course coordinator, Brendan? If you can email me, that's great. Jessica, let's have a look. How can we help you, Jessica? Just unmute yourself, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just got a question about so I'm looking at the second question on the list about NAPLAN.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could like if any of the school videos on there kind of relate to it. I was really confused about what virtual school visit I should use.
Well, did you watch? There was one school in the high school that talked about NAPLAN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You could use that, and if you didn't want to use it, you could also think about using one of the videos in 8.3, which talks more broadly about, you know, alternative kinds of education, alternative kinds of schooling. So that you can use that, because that would kind of go against that high stakes, stressful external assessment.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks, Jessica. So, you know, you can take a long road to get to the topic by looking at the theory and the ideas behind what you're doing, okay? And we're at almost 10 o'clock. Next week, what I'd like you guys to do between now and next week is have a look at the media, because the Australian curriculum is coming under review. The New South Wales Parliament Committee has already released something about New South Wales syllabuses. Now we're going into the Australian curriculum review. I would love to have a really in-depth conversation with you guys about what that's entailing. But for now, what you can do is you can switch over to Melanie Innes's first year experiences session. Our head of school is there. I would love it if as many people as possible would go over, because she funds our first year experience workshops. And if she can see that people are coming to it, it might encourage her to keep funding it. Yes, Phoebe?
Hi, did anybody listen or watch the news? I think it was not last week, but the week before that, where they had that really, really controversial sex ed consent video going around that was being published for schools.
The milkshake video.
Yeah.
Wasn't that weird?
It got people talking about it though.
It did, yeah. Unfortunately, because the people who made that video don't really want people to talk about sexual education at school. Yes, Anthony, that video was amazing and horrible. Do you know what, Phoebe, because it's already 10 o'clock, let's hold that discussion off till next week, and we'll put
Yeah, it was just, you said about the curriculum and watching the news, and I go, did anybody watch it besides me?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it with my son, who's 9, and he thought it was stupid. He laughed at it. It was funny because it didn't.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of creepy, actually. Anyway. There's a whole lot of things wrong with it, but it's now 1 minute past 10. So let's save that for next week, if you don't mind, Phoebe.
Yeah, it's just popped in my hand and go, all right, I'll see you guys. I'll see Peter for class.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Phoebe. Reach out. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay, and everyone else, goodbye, and have a good